Recently, a friend asked me how I paint my 15mm miniatures. I'll show it here using this late war German soldier armed with the STG-44. This particular model is from Peter Pig, an English maker. This is how it will look in the end. 15mm or 1:100 scale is very small. So let's quickly talk some theory here, namely color scaling. To the left is a full-size miniature, or a bigature. To the right, a much smaller miniature. The full size has a lot of area that reflects light. When that light hits our eyes, the color will appear as is. However, the miniature has a lot less area that reflects light. When that light hits our eyes, it will appear darker. Even though they are the same color from the same pot of paint, less area to reflect light means darker perceived color. Thus, we need to scale the color and make it brighter so the perceived color is the same, effectively nullifying the optical effect. Also, it makes the miniature pop more on the table. Without scaling the color, the finished miniature may look dark and muddy with a lack of definition. Also, my first time animating in Procreate. Excuse the roughness. The details on this miniature is good despite its small scale. We have his assault rifle, helmet, magazine pouches made of canvas, his entrenching tool, and bayonet, mess kit, gas mask canister, camouflage tent piece, bread bag, water canteen, and his gaiters. To start, let's pick German Field Grey. This is AK's 3rd gen paints, but Vallejo's is so similar it does not really matter. The shades were numerous in real life. If you stay within a certain spectrum, you will be fine, so any German Field Grey will work. I'm painting his jacket and trousers with this color. His gaiters will be a similar color, but we'll get there later. Oh, and this metal miniature has been primed with Corex White from Games Workshop. Any primer will work, but I like a brighter color as we want the miniature brighter regardless, but it doesn't really matter. Next up is German Camouflage Dark Green from Vallejo's Model Color Panzer Aces series. Whew, what a mouthful. It's more saturated than Field Grey color. We will use this to paint any metal equipment that's supposed to be green, so his helmet, mess kit, and gas mask canister. Then we're on to equipment made out of canvas. We'll paint them with Vallejo's German Camouflage Beige World War II. It's a bit more muted than a regular beige, but both can work. Mixing in a little black can bring a regular beige down, for example. We'll paint his magazine pouches and bread bag with this color. The pouches for the STG-44 were made of canvas, often a tan color. However, they are seen in green too, but for variation's sake, I'm doing them tan. The tent piece will also be painted this color. For the next step, any brown will do. Here's a mud brown and a saddle brown. I'll go with saddle brown as it's a bit more reddish. This color goes onto the weapon stock, water canteen cover, as well as the entrenching tool and bayonet handle. The tent piece has a camouflage on it. A reddish brown is needed. I just used the same saddle brown from AK. Trying to paint angular shapes, it makes a decent approximation of the German splinter camo. It's difficult to reproduce accurately, and when we got many miniatures to finish, an approximation is good enough. I then return to German Camouflage Dark Green from Vallejo's Model Color Panzer Aces series. Again, doing angular shapes, leaving some tan to show. And that's the camouflage done. For his gaiters, I mix a little bit of the camouflage beige with the field grey to make a sort of faded field grey look. Gaiters were made of canvas and wore out quickly. Any shade of field grey will do. I'm never very precise when painting these. For anything black, I will be using rubber black. It's a dark grey and more pleasing to the eye than a pure black, and with color scaling in mind, it will also be perceived as darker than it is. This goes on the boots and canteen cup. By using the side of the brush, I can quickly also get the canteen strap painted too. Then we'll do the tent-piece straps, bayonets, and entrenching tool and cover. As well as the rifle, of course. Now for the skin. I go bright with Vallejo's sunny skin tone, and I paint whatever skin is showing. And this is how it looks so far. Now for shading and highlights. I use a wash for shading. Army Painter's soft tone is fantastic for this. I put it over the entire miniature, except the skin. It's also worth saying that I always paint these miniatures in batches of 5 to 10 at a time. For the skin, I use Army Painter's Flesh Wash. It gives the sunny skin tone a livelier red shade. I also took the liberty to paint the base with AK's Mud Brown. Makes everything tie together a little better. Usually I will have some texture on the base and finish it off with grass tufts and a black rim. But this video isn't about basing. Let's start with highlighting field grey. Put some down and mix in buff. Beige works fine too, I can barely tell the difference. Just don't mix with pure white, as it removes any saturation and just makes the field grey grey. Also, remember water. Mix it bright. I'm happy here. Start with the shoulder board and any oh, that's very bright. Let's darken it. Here, that's better. Now, paint any exposed areas, but leave any crevices and shaded areas. I prefer the rough look here. I've never bothered much with blending on this small scale. For the canvas, I'm simply painting over with the same base color, unmixed. For the skin, I use the base color again, sunny skin tone, unmixed. Now for the mess kit and gas mask canister, mix in some buff with German camouflage dark green from Vallejo's model color Panzer Aces series. And highlight the mess kit and gas mask canister. Don't bother with the helmet. And that's it. That's how I paint 15mm German World War II soldiers. A matte varnish and a nice base will tie everything together. Here's the miniature together with a finished mortar team, painted in the same fashion. Here you can see the matte varnish and the base, but also how nicely this freshly painted one blends together with them. Thank you for watching.